don't know how much of a participant in it I am. I don't have a vote, which is one thing. Like, I don't have a vote here in Ireland, because if you leave and lots of you probably have been immigrants or there's immigrants in your family, if you're not coming back within 18 months, you lose your right to vote in Ireland. Whereas in America, you can leave America for 40 years and even your children can still vote who've never set foot in America. So like, it's interesting who gets to vote where, I think. So I don't have a vote in Ireland and I don't have a vote in America until I'm a full citizen, which is years away, if it will even be possible for me. It's looking increasingly not possible because of the new laws that are happening.
Yeah. Is this part of why you set up, when you started doing the podcast about immigration? And again, as you say, it is the so-called the good immigrant, the white English-speaking immigrant, the people who, at first glance don't necessarily look like an immigrant to other Americans. And in a lot of ways, you told a lot of really interesting stories in that podcast, people who are really voiceless and don't really get to, which you write about in the book as well. That woman, is she Romanian, that woman?
Yeah,
that story is incredible.
Yeah, so I wrote about, in my podcast, I interviewed a different immigrant, as I said, and one woman that I interviewed, that I didn't get to use her interview, which I felt bad about, but I wrote about her in the book. Sinéad Gleeson, her name is, and she's a Romanian woman. She's white and she is undocumented. She was a lawyer in Romania, and then for political reasons she left, but then she couldn't claim asylum and it was kind of complicated, and she's been undocumented for like about 18 years, and her son is undocumented too, but he has DACA, which you've probably heard about, that's just been rescinded. So they're in a very unstable place at the moment. She has this brilliant young son. A lot of the first generation immigrants are again, you don't want to get into the whole who's a good immigrant and who's not, but literally like crime rates are lower among immigrants. Like they're more likely to be entrepreneurs. Like they're kind of better than native-born Americans for a variety of reasons. They want to prove,
and they want to succeed, and they want to stay there and keep their heads down and not be bothered.
So
they work really hard.
I think so. So he's this brilliant young kid, and he's in college, and he's doing great, but he doesn't have his papers anymore and stuff. So so I wrote about her, and a lot of I think her case kind of, she was working as like selling hats on a boardwalk and stuff, with the Diamante, like cute ass, whatever hats. You have those.
I've bet 10 of them, yeah. Different colours.
And so she took a real hit, to bring up her son in America, and it's really punishing her. Like there's no kind of end in sight for her. Yeah. So I wrote, I think I can read something about her.
Yeah, that's one of the most striking chapters in the book. I mean, because also there's a resilience where they keep getting beaten down, literally, and she just will not give up. She's pretty relentless.
Or do you know what, Sinead? I don't think I did write. I don't think I have a bit about her. Do you like what I'm holding?
I love that your bookmarks are dollars. I love it. You're your artist in the garage. You're really broke. They're not 50s, are they? No.
I have money at the moment.
But this is because of the book. Well, do you know what? Actually, another section you might read if you have the book there is where you do talk about money quite a lot. And there's actually it's in a very, very funny chapter, even though you talk about money, and you talk about money as something like the tide goes out and it comes back in.
I'll read it. Okay.
But it's also about going to try and find a really, really fancy dress. And I was asking earlier, please tell me you took a picture of the dress, and I don't think you did.
No. So there's a place called Rent the Runaway. Do you know this place? Yeah. You can rent dresses, basically evening wear, and. I was going to a ball, at the for the Irish Arts Centre, and which is a place that Jim Sheridan set up many years ago, and it's a really funny, like it's in like a little house, way on the east side, the east side, and it has all seats from an old cinema. And like everyone that comes in is like, oh, it's so charming, but they're like, what the fuck is this? But they're building this huge new building anyway, and it's like a funny kind of a physical representation of like how the Irish have done in America, because now they're like, we just broke ground, and they like have this huge sort of silvery building coming up behind it, and like this place, I don't know what they'll do with it. Like it looks like a tenement, like actually, like it, Anyway, so. They had this fundraising ball, and I was going to the ball, and I was broke at the time, so I was trying to rent this dress, and I wrote about my relationship with money. I'll read it. I'm bad with money, but money is worse with me. Some days it pours in on top of me and I have to fling it away to be able to breathe. Other days I look for it everywhere and there's none to be found. I'm embarrassed about my relationship with money and often read violent articles online with headlines like, take control of your dollars now, you dumb bitch. But I can never seem to do what they tell me. My actual fortune keeps changing. As an adult, I've been so rich, I bought a car for cash and I never used it. And that's actually a short version of what happened, where in the end, because I was like, I need to learn how to drive, like I'm so mortified, so this will make me do it, like I'll buy a car. And then I didn't learn, and like it was just outside my house every day. I'd be like, hi. And
would you drive in New York? It's like terrifying.
No, but I can't even drive in Cove. Yeah. I just can't drive anywhere.
Answers my question.
And then I asked my friend Maria if she'd keep it in her car park on Cork Street, and then animals started living in it, and like it was such a mess. And I've been so broke that I bought my coins to a check cashing place on Church Avenue and tried to convince the woman working there to give me a full $1 instead of 88 cents. Money feels like a tide that comes in and out, controlled by a moon I can't reach. One time I said that to a bank advisor at a Chase Bank in East Harlem, and he looked at me like I was crazy. But then he cancelled the fee I'd incurred for being overdrawn. So I think we all know who won that round.
But it is, I mean, when you got there first and it was difficult to start out, and again, you were going to end up doing loads of different things. I mean, it is that lure of, American dream and all the rest of it. But it is a big city, and it is very competitive, and there's only a certain amount of roles for everyone. So how did you decide? Did you say, like, I'm going to stay 2 years or 4 years? If it doesn't work out, I'll go home and, it'll be no big deal. Or are you like, I'm staying here forever until I make it really big? What did you have a plan or what?
Well, first, like, it was kind of defined by my visa, because my first visa was a 1-year visa. And I was like, if I'm doing okay after 8 months of this, I'll apply for a 3-year one. And, but it wasn't that calculated. I just, like, didn't want to come back home, and I didn't want to go back to London. So I was like, I just have to keep plugging away. Yeah. But I didn't have a plan, and I think I'm very lucky in the situation that I'm in, because like I don't have children, I don't have like a mortgage, so I have that freedom to follow my curiosity more. You can do that, of course, if you have ties, but I feel like, well, this is a really big opportunity for me. Just like, I was so interested in immigration, but I don't know why. Like, I'm from Cove, which obviously is a place where people leave from all the time, and so I grew up knowing about people who left, but not really wondering like, when they arrive, like what happens to them. So it was interesting to find myself in New York, having made the same journey as like, I.NY, the first immigrant through the gates of Ellis Island. She left from Cove, and then seeing her, she was an undocumented child who brought her 2 little brothers, left from Cork and ended up in New York. And then I see like all these kids coming to the southern border, and they're undocumented minors with their little siblings, and they're turned away, or worse, they're taken away from their parents. So it was just really hard for me not to like pay attention to that stuff. Yeah. And then I had the luxury of like, well, I just need to read more and I can start writing about this, and just following my curiosity was I think mainly my plan.